This video chart presentation of Omega Commercial Financial Corp. Brought to you by allpenny-stocks.com. Omega is an OTCQB tier company trading our ticker OCFN. I scaled this out to a 5-year weekly chart in order to paint a better picture of what's really going on with this chart. Multiple bottoms, but making a strong move and blew through resistance at 10 cents. It has now moved into a breakout pattern with not much resistance in sight until it comes up and challenges these old levels around $1. Now we'll take some long-term look at the indicators. See the MACD just trending right around zero. Importantly, now pushed above zero, showing the stock's entered into a bullish trend. PPO also pushed above zero, showing bullishness. Talk about this a lot of times. See that ADX down near 10. Look for some strength to start to come into a direction. And now the ADX has pushed its way through 20. And I'd be looking for the break of 30, signaling that the ADX has entered into a trending pattern. And while the ADX itself doesn't necessarily tell you a direction, it just tells you the strength of the direction, the positive DI being on top indicates that the strength is to the upside. Money flow index holding well above 50, for the most part been there for the better part of a couple years, signaling that people are paying higher prices to purchase the stock. Accumulation distribution, again over a couple years, upward trend to it, making higher lows. Now I would like to see it punch through, make some new highs, but from a broad perspective, this indicator signaling that there's accumulation in the play. That's reiterated by the Chaikin money flow. It's been holding in the green, saying that buying pressure is outweighing selling pressure. CCI got up very high above 500. I always expect some sort of pullback when it's reaching those levels. Technically speaking, the official buy point came on the break of 100, and it would have been a hold ever since then, which obviously would have amounted to some very substantial gains. In the full stow, nice upward pattern, a lot of momentum coming into this play. And similar to the MACD, Trick showing a shift in trend back into bullishness by breaking above zero. RSIs have also been on a steady climb throughout 2012. Recently, strong upward climb, holding above 50. RSIs above 70 are what momentum traders refer to as being in the power zone. Now with this big climb from around a half a penny all the way up near 30 cents over the last few months, it should certainly be expected there's a lot of momentum coming into this play. And while I could focus on the idea that there's some bottom support, coming right in through this area, somewhere around 2 cents. With this stock at the point where it is now, I think it's more pertinent to focus on where it is and where, if it does potentially pull back, where to look for support. I'd put that right around the dime mark. Stock closed at 22 cents yesterday, and that is a pretty deep fall to come back to that level. But because it's in a bit of a blue sky breakout, because it hasn't been at these levels in about 4 years, that is the nearest source of support outside of its last few days of establishing a support level right around 22 cents. Most importantly, what I'd be looking for, if it does want to pull back, just try and establish a higher low, hold above that dime mark, potentially go into what's a bullish flag pattern, where there's a little bit of consolidation after a large move. Stock price is well above the short-term moving averages and also holding over top of the long-term, the 50 and 200-day moving averages. Everything in these candles is signaling bullishness at this point. So a short-term consolidation, followed potentially by another upside move, would be just fine. And as it so happens, a lot of times very healthy for a chart to do that. Now what I'd look for to the upside is maybe a little bit of resistance right there at the high of 29 cents. But that doesn't tie into a lot of historical resistance. I don't see some historical resistance coming into the near the 50 up to 60 cent area, which is still just a huge move, well over a double from where it is currently, and perhaps on its way to challenge the $1 mark, where I'd expect on any climb to that area, that resistance would be very substantial. It's a common psychological barrier, and has also served as a support and resistance point in the past. Now that is certainly far away to those resistance points, just like it's a pretty far pullback to the support levels, but that's the type of thing that happens with this sort of a major breakout through a heavy resistance point. Volume has increased modestly for it. This is always a pretty thinly traded stock. But going back a little bit, it can be seen that volume can increase with this. Certainly back in 2009, it traded with heavier volume. And with this sort of move, this chart potentially could be hitting the radar of a lot more investors. And I'd be looking for volume to try and pick up as the stock potentially continues on its upward path and garners more attention because of the strong move. Those are the type of things that I'd be looking for in the OCFN chart. But as always, merely my interpretation. I'm not a financial consultant and strongly encourage you to do your own proper due diligence. Consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Please visit the allpenny-stocks.com website to view the full disclaimer disclosure. I do not base any investment decisions upon any material found on the website and/or this video chart. No person employed by All Penny Stocks is a registered investment advisor or licensed broker-dealer. Thank you for watching and trade smart.